farm. Well, you see women going to markets to make trade, and you see the man going to the farm to bring the harvest, and the women taking it to the market to sell. The culture has always encouraged this symbiotic, this synergy between couples. I don't think there's anywhere where our culture has specifically said, okay, this is the woman is to be at home, or the woman is to do nothing. But people take it out of context because of their own personal gain or something.
Hello.
Yeah. I agree with you to some extent. However, I tend to also believe that maybe over time, because culture and tradition evolves as well over time, and whether knowingly or unknowingly, this culture crept into us. Because in Nigeria, they even sing this song, mommy in the kitchen, cooking food, daddy in the parlor, watching ball, stuffs like that. However, okay, the other day I saw a content of a lady here saying men don't cook. Okay, have you met UK husbands? The culture here tends to change that in our men. That's why when they get here, some struggle before they can fit in. Because here, you have to do things together, cook, both of you are working, or whatever. So I want to believe that in a way, our culture informed certain attributes, characters within us. And that's why somehow back home, you would see that most of the time, of course, abroad, they are homemakers too. You even have instances where the man is the homemaker while the woman is working.
The British.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just say something?
Adedoyin, sorry, can I just say
I used to be you before. They used to call me you before. Even somebody was arguing that Mayor is a woman, my tie is a man. And this person on Paparano was arguing that no, that is Pythagoras, anonymous account. And I was like, well, okay, anyway, you people. Babies of Life was asking if it's our culture or something. To be honest, it was never part of our culture. If we go back down in history, it was actually brought in by the slave masters, by the The Europeans actually brought this culture of owing, not seeing women as part of their properties. So when they came to Africa, Nigeria to be precise, they realized that actually women have a right to some things and they have a voice. The English actually brought this culture of owning a woman, um, subjugating a woman, you know. So obviously, like we know, culture evolves, but that part, yeah, they took that part. African men took that part, and they are not trying to let it go. So even as much as they are evolving, but the part of as a woman, you shouldn't have a right. They didn't let that go. Mr. Pythagoras says something about even though some women might not be entitled to property, there are still some states in Nigeria that doesn't believe a woman should have a right to her father's property because, yeah, that is one of the things I just felt maybe to put to as in to contribute with. And yes, she also says misinterpretation of culture and religion. Yeah, that is one of the things, keeping things for someone like Mr. Pythagoras was saying that you maybe when a child dies, okay, like let me use the example of the current Olu of Wari. He was 2 years old when his father died. So they have to appoint people to hold his father's throne while he was trained abroad. He was actually trained under the tutelage of the previous Oba of Benin. He sent him to school, trained him to higher education in abroad, and when he finished, he came back to take over his father's throne. So that is supposed to be how it is. Somebody is put in place to look after you and to look after the estate until you are of age to be able to look to do things by yourself. But selfishness sort of comes in, and then they decide, you know what, if I take over these things, if I take over what doesn't belong to me, what I'm supposed to keep for you in an estate or in trust, nobody's going to question me when I take it over. And then this is what is now happening now, whereby a father, an uncle, a brother-in-law can decide that, okay, I can do this, then nobody can question me. Uh, did you get that? Did you hear me?
Sorry, I stepped out at some point. I just came back in. But I heard the part where you talked about the Olo of Wari being sponsored by the Oba of Benin then because he had to come abroad to study and went back. But I think that was the point I stepped out.
Okay. Yeah, it's just to talking about the culture, the religion, and the way of life of our people that has sort of made it impossible for women to sort of come out of that aspect of you can owe a friend. Africans, well, let me just limit it to Nigerians, still to some extent believe that as a woman, you do not have the know how or the knowledge to manage things yourself. They still believe that you have to be under the tutelage of a man. So it's either you're under your father, your husband, or your brother. So they believe that as a woman, you don't have the ability or the sense to manage anything. Talk more of um, inheritance. So, and some cultures still believe that as a woman, when you're married, you're no longer part of the family. You are now a family to a new, you are now part of a new family. So you don't have anything, you have no right to your father's estate, if there is any. And with that, the woman in question is in limbo. She doesn't have a claim, like we are saying now, to her husband's property because you are not related to them by blood. And from your father's family, they are saying to you, you are a woman, you are not married, so you are no more part of this. So the culture now sort of make a woman to be in limbo. You're not neither here nor there. So what now happens?
Yeah,
You don't have a stake.
okay, I get you, and that's why I tend to agree more with Baby Soft's life question then about the impact or effect of culture on on our on making men uh, as an on breeding or raising narcissistic men, you
Yeah,
know. And yes, there are some factors that would contribute to that, really, because sometimes, even back home, there are men who will tell you, me, carry broom and sweep. When I have a house in the wife, no way. You get, because
yeah,
somehow it's been ingrained in our men's head that that's the duty of a woman to sweep. Oh no, I can't wash. Me, emi balele mama for abo. I know I will not do that. But when they come abroad, they do.
exactly.
So those are still effect of culture, really. And yes, I also agree that then as more people travel and they go back home, the culture begins to it's eroded. culture begin to merge. You have men who were, maybe studying abroad. They go back home, then the orientation changes. They begin to do things in a different ways and all of that as a result of a culture that they've been exposed to where they are coming. Like, I was raised by my dad, and my dad was a hands-on dad. Like, he cooks,
Yeah.
does everything, everything. So for someone like me growing up, I don't see it as is a
A
man that
big
should
deal.
and funny enough, I don't even see like, oh, electricity is a man that should go and fix it. If it's something I can, why not? I can. Changing of bulbs and all of that, those
Yeah.
are
Even
things
the
that
changing of tire, I learned that from my dad.
you
You know.
understand. So
Yeah.
there's a cultural effect in how our men are raised. And because I was raised differently, I'm raising my boys differently as well. Like these things, there's no, no, mommy, I'm not a girl. I can no, no, we don't do that over here. So I tend to agree that yes, culture has its impact on our men for real. And yes, we also talked about having a home where you have boys and girls, and more focus is being put
Put
or
on the
placed
girls.
on the girls at the
Mm.
detriment of raising boys. And eventually, if you look at all of this taking over of property, it's still men that you will find there. Look at the Wigwe case now. It's still the grandfather that is taking his granddaughter to court over property.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I tend to believe that our culture has influence over our men. If you go and look at that Igwe, I said
Wig.
Wigwe ish.
Yeah.
The grandfather is not even poor.
No.
A 90 something year old man, and you're still dragging your granddaughter to court over property. What should be her inheritance?
The British, let me come in there
Yes,
so
sir.
that people don't get uh, so that at least they know the full story. Because I was about to say when you were still talking that uh, some of these things too are perpetrated by women, and you beat me to it by saying, "Oh, even men, they are the one doing these things." Because at the end of the day, who trains these children most of the time in quote at home?
The
Because if
women.
we want something different in the society, it should begin from us. It should begin from our own home itself. You want your boys to behave a certain way, or your girls to know that there's no limit to what they can do. You have to start it, not taking a megaphone to the marketplace and shouting it, but you have to start it at home first.
Yeah.
Because some of these things we see, some of this widow victimization we talk about, women are still the tools. Yeah, maybe most of it are not directly initiated or done by the female folks, but they are still the tools they use in oppressing other women. The same thing goes around with some of these things. So look at this wig waste issue. The person really sponsoring this grandfather or pushing or leading this grandfather on is a woman too. One cousin, Caroline or somebody. But then, one way or the other, she feels she needed somebody that has some direct blood relation to Wigwe
Relationship.
that can contest for this thing. That's why they brought in the grandfather into the suit, join him and make it look legit so that he wants to take care of the other children because those ones are not of age. So somehow he can get some form of custody, and getting custody means getting some property to take care of them. So that is the whole idea itself. If you look at it, if you study the case well, really, it's not the grandfather just coming out saying, I want all this property and this and this. It's some cousin somewhere thinking, no, these people they cannot have this thing. They're the property of my brother, my uncle, or something, and this other young girl should not have access to all these enormous sum of money and properties. Then they had to find a way of making it look beautiful to people. Or is the grandfather wanting to take care of his grandchildren? And of course, he will need the property to keep in trust for them. So really, that's the case. It's not a case of a grandfather just trying to grab property. It's a case of a relative somewhere trying to lay their hands on the
Okay.
property through the grandfather.
Uh, Mr. Pythagoras, uh, Baby Soft Life said, asked a question saying that she could hear that some places don't rent places for single ladies. And yes, it is true. Some of them will not, some landlord will not rent a property for you if you're single because they believe or they assume that as a single lady, you will definitely have prospective suitors. And to them, it means you'll be having different men in their environment. That's number one. Number two, most of them believe that, oh, because you're single, you will end up enticing their husband and taking their husband. It's just a lot of misconception around around single women and women generally. And it's still part of the things that makes people to stay in an unhealthy environment. Because a woman that is trying to run away from an abusive relationship needs a place to stay, even if she can afford it. Then I've seen cases of they taking their brother or their cousin to a prospective landlord and say, oh, this is my husband, or this is my brother, my husband lives abroad, so I need a place to stay. So it is a way of how do we now teach our people to unlearn some of these cultural practices that are detrimental to human development.
Actually, they can learn it, they can do it, but if it doesn't suit their current need, people don't really care about it. And that's why
That's
it
true.
has to start from a very young age. That forget what suits you at the moment. Do what is right. Do what is fair. Do what is equitable. So, because if people don't have this training from a young age, it will be difficult for people to learn new things when
At
they are
old
already
age.
set. Yes,
Mhm.
it will be difficult. And that's why you see people moving from kindness to wickedness here and there, and you feel like, oh, this person was kind yesterday, why is he behaving this way? It's because the kindness somehow was the right thing for him to do yesterday. That is benefiting from it. And the wickedness of today is also benefiting from it.
Someone asked a question that in the case of her father's uh, trustees, some of them are late, and the children is trying to enforce their father's role on them. So, in this situation, when does the role of an estate of a trustee end?
As soon
Is
as the
there
child is of age, they can,
exactly
as soon as the child is of age, the child is they now become
21 or something?
an employee to the child. So the child can fire them at any time.
Okay. So, Jesulaba, did you hear that? I hope that answer your question. Also, one of the other things, Mr. Peter, that I see that a lot of misconception among our people. Can you sort of give education on next of kin? Because to me, what a lot of our people thinks next of kin is, if you are next of kin, you automatically um, owns or you jogun or you how do I put it, you get the inheritance. That is what a lot of people think next of kin is about. Can you please uh, give information on what is next of kin, and also direct advanced directives. There are three things now I would like you to talk about: lasting power of attorney, advanced directives, and next of kin, their rules.
Okay. So I think we should look at it from the. I know most people are asking this based on inheritance and things like that, and that's why the issue of next of kin will usually come up. So where there's a will, where there is, oh, this is how I want this to be done, because basically that is a will. Once the disease, once they've left something during their lifetime, stating how they want their affairs to be settled, then you call that a will. As long as it is written and it is sealed, it is a will. And once you have a will, the will supersedes every other thing, except in situation where the will is contested, maybe because of some irregularities or because of some fraudulent act or something. But if that's not the case, the will supersedes every other thing. Be it next of kin, be it power of attorney, be it anything. It is a dying testament of the deceased person. It supersedes every other thing. It is only when the will is not clear. In fact, there can't be any way where the will is not clear. If the will is not clear itself, then it can be contested. But if you have a proper will, it supersedes every other thing. And you won't even have be asking question about next of kin, because next of kin in itself is more or less like saying the closest person, the living relative, the closest living relative to the disease, in case the person is dead. That is. Yeah,
Okay.
you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that sometimes next of kin, well, maybe because I live in England and I know that it's sort of does not necessarily have to be the closest living relatives. Next of kin can be anyone that I appoint to be my next of kin. Do we accept that, or we are leaving it as the closest living relative? Because I could have a closest living relative that I'm not close to is in the aspect of rapport, and I
No,
have a
no, no.
friend that is
Yeah, I get where you're going, because the next of kin actually has to be stated on some form of documents.
yes,
So it means really that you can put anybody there, but though you still have to state your relationship to that person.
yeah.
So anybody
Marriage
you
not
see,
count.
sorry,
I meant, does the marriage not count then?
I think you have to repeat that. I didn't get that.
Oh, I said,
She's
does the
asked
marriage not count? The marriage,
In what sense? The marriage counts, but in
if
what
they're
sense?
married,
You
in
mean
a
the
if they're
next
next
of
of
kin
kin?
married,
aspect.
yes, for next of kin.
Yeah, it counts, but then you can decide not to have your partner as your next of kin. Because in terms of inheritance, because we're focusing on inheritance now, in terms of inheritance, the only time the next of kin comes into play is when you don't have a will. And what they do is they help you decide who inherits. It's not like they even inherit automatically. They help you decide. Oh, you're not there. This is the next. This is somebody who probably know them well, who knows their thinking, who knows what they want. Since the will is not there to tell us what they really want after they're gone, the next of kin can help us determine what they would love, how they would love their estate to be settled. That is the purpose. That is the job of the next of kin there. They might not even inherit a penny out of the old whatever inheritance. They might
That's
not.
true. And in aspect of
Pythagoras,
having, okay, go on with the supply.
sorry. I just wanted Pythagoras to clarify which is better, a trust or a will. The reason I'm saying that is because, like, for example, my dad put everything in a trust. So there was no reason for anybody to say, oh, I want this, I want, it's just a trust. And it would go like generations. So it's not like somebody can sell something from it. It just continues through the generations. So is that not stronger than a will?
It all depends on the situation at hand. A will clearly settles everything. Everything gets settled right there. But a trust, once you create the trust, it keeps going on. And in a way, a trust is also a kind of a will too. It's something you want. It's like you've created an extension. You've created an extension of yourself. You, at that point, there's no need to start who will manage this, who will do this one. You avoid going to probate to try and distribute asset, because with a trust, yes, things get done faster, sort of. But then, trust is more complex. It is expensive to set up. And somebody has to be there constantly, transferring assets, acquiring assets, distributing assets. But for a will, it's like everybody go your way. You have this, you have that. Everything has a name attached to it. Everything,
Okay.
yeah.
So what is the difference between advance directive to the will?
With what?
In England, they use some sort of like advance directives. In England, they split it into two. There is one to sort of make decisions regarding your health, and you can appoint someone else to make decisions regarding your property, your finances. So in case of incapacity, like maybe the person end up having dementia or something like that, but maybe at the early
You're talking
onset.
about power of Maryland, Mende Village, and Anthony Village.
No, not power of attorney now. So in health, we have what we call advanced directives. So you, before anything happens, it sort of wants to look like power of attorney or lasting power of attorney. But in this case, it calls advanced directive. That means you're doing this before something happens. I'm making this probability should in case something happens. Okay, I'm appointing so person to make decisions regarding my health in case I'm not able to make that decision by myself. This person knows me so well. They want me. We've discussed this. We've talked about this. I do not want to be resuscitated if so, or I'm a fighter. You do everything to make sure you keep me alive. So that's sort of like advanced directive in the aspect of health. And you can appoint someone else to make decision in the aspect of finances. So they can make decisions maybe when this person is incapacitated, they cannot pay their bills, they
Yeah,
cannot.
I get it. But I think both
Yeah.
are still power of attorney. Advanced directive is just maybe a part of it. Because advanced directives, that one is clear already. You've given the directives. Do not resuscitate. When this happens, do this, do that. That is clearly stated out in a document that whoever the healthcare or the doctor or the practitioner is, they go through that. They read that. It's like I've forgotten what they call it. Maybe they put it by the bedside or the ward of the patient or something, so that whoever is treating them, they read through it, they flip through it, they know what the patient wants, and they can't go against it. Otherwise, they open themselves up to liabilities. So that is clear. That's documented. But then you can also now give a power to somebody that acts on my behalf when I'm not there. You have my best interest at heart. Anybody that sees this person, whatever the action is, I've given them the power, I've given them the authority to act on my behalf. And it now depends on which area you want them to act. Is it in terms of your finances? Is it in terms of some of your assets? Is it regarding your business? Is it regarding your relationship with somebody else? So, power of attorney, you can make it very wide, or you can even limit it. An advanced directive, it depends on what you want. In every situation also, you can have one, especially when it comes to health, you can have one. And when you don't have the power to make decision, or maybe temporarily you are incapacitated, they have a document to look at, and everything will be there on how they should proceed.
Pythagoras, I think you've explained that really well because I have a friend
ẹ jẹ́
who's
n-
suddenly
president
became
ẹjọ́ máa gbé
unwell.
kófì padà president ẹjọ́ sà ẹjọ́.
I have a friend who suddenly became unwell, and she had to give that directive before the whole motor neuron thing became degenerative to the point that she doesn't speak anymore now, you know. But when you talk about, you're right, Pythagoras, when you talk about power of attorney, so for example, my mom's got some accounts here, and I'm her power of attorney. So if I like, I mean, of course, I'm a good child, but if I wanted to, I could withdraw all her money. Nobody's going to stop me. But it's not because she's incapacitated. She just felt, you know what, I'm retiring. I'm going back to Nigeria. That's where I want to be. I'll only visit every now and then. But sometimes there might be bills that come, not bills, but like she needs to change her cards and some other things, and she's not really around to do it. So I have that as something I'm able to do on her behalf with her monies, you know, that sort of thing. So yes, I think you explained that really, really clearly. But Pythagoras, my question now, still on next of kin, is I have a friend who's been married to whoever it was, you know, for like almost, I think, about 25 years thereabout, and their relationship is really good. But I think what she just discovered recently was where she's assumed they were getting things together, you know, like investments and all of that. She just always left it to the guy and, you know, just believed. But she said something came up one day and she said, "Oh, you didn't put my name on that property." And he goes, "Oh, no, 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 your name is not on that property." And that made her then look at all the other documents. And then she realized actually it's not been put in her name. So what does she do in that situation? Because she always felt so. Okay, let me tell you what she did. I told her that she should go and speak to counselors just to seek advice, you know, like from counselors, which she did. But when she did come back to me, the counseling, she said, well, she said it worked okay, but she's not really bothered. But what she's saying to me is that they got him to sort of add her on as a secondary to one of the investments. But any investment they had outside of the country, she's not been able to get him to do the needful, and she doesn't want it to cause stress.
Yeah, it's they have to negotiate it. If it has gotten to that point, it's all a matter of negotiation, or outright taking themselves to court. So, but then it will be better they talk it out first, and they can look for an equitable way of resolving it. Otherwise, they can take it to court. Court can determine what should be for them. Then court, we have to look at things like, what they are both bringing to the table, their contribution to all these things, the lady's contribution to whatever properties they've acquired that this man has refused to put a name on, and things like that. Then the court can make orders for correction or for outright transfer.
In that situation, will that not lead to breakdown of the marriage? Because
Yeah, that's why I said they need to negotiate an equitable way of an equitable formula. She needs to make a list of all these things, get a list of them, confront him with it. Oh, what's going on here? Why are my names not here? I would like my names to be here, especially if there's a solid claim. If you know how much you've been contributing to the joint fund, and your name is not on some things, you have some confidence to speak up and say, no, what's going on here? But if it's just maybe some minimal contribution, yes, you might not have the confidence to bring up some discussion. But if somebody who has been putting in 50% or even more, and they're getting to know this, of course, they'll be mad and they want to speak up and confront this right away.
And in that, I don't know the full story, to be honest, but I think she might have issues because I think a sort of like she works, she does stuff, but she's never given me the impression that she like does bills. He just does all the bills because he always wants to do all the bills. You know, that kind of thing. That's sort of life or the impression she's always given me. So it's almost like, oh, your money is yours. You know, do whatever you want to do with your money. I'm the man of the house. I'm meant to do this, that, and the other. So I don't know, but they do have like a shared maybe like account or something like that. But I don't know. I've just said to her to go counseling, which she sort of like did. And she just said one of which is being able to like put her name on it, you know. But I think she's also saying, as because I told her my dad did a trust as well, that she want to sort of ask. So he's happy to do a trust, according to her. But she said that it was going to put her as a secondary person on the trust. I don't know. But I think it's just complicated for her. But I now told her, that's why I was actually curious about the next of kin. So I now told her, I said, but because you guys are married, you're next of kin. So does that not count for anything? But she doesn't seem to have like, a clue.
Yeah, next of kin will only count if her name is on some documents. If her name is not there,
Exactly.
yes, she's the next of kin automatically because especially in England, there's a list or there's a sequence, or is it sequence I should use? It is the spouse first. After the spouse, that's when you have the children, then siblings, grandparents, and things like that. So you have the list automatically. But then the next of kin doesn't really determine anything where there's a will, where there's a trust, where there's a power of attorney. The next of kin is just a title.
Also, some of the things that have occurred in my line of work about this next of kin business is in a case of divorce, and the man did not take off his first wife as the next of kin. So, in all documents, in all papers, the first wife is still next of kin. He's gone and remarried.
Yeah.
He never bothered to change it. 5, 6 years down the line, he's sick, he's in critical care, he cannot speak for himself. Now there is a wife who is not in paper as the next of kin, and under the law, you cannot give information to who is not the next of kin. So it's now a case of dealing with the ex-wife and
Maybe they
trying to
didn't.
deal with it.
Maybe they didn't live on a good ground. Another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get it. He did not take off his
I'm
name.
saying I understand you. Like maybe the divorce or the separation was not
Messy.
even. Was a bit messy, and dealing with them now. The wife now will be reluctant or will feel somehow dealing with them, or they might even want to take some pound of flesh too.
That's one aspect. Another aspect is, so now there is a wife that is worried but if she's not getting information regarding her husband's welfare, because on paper, under the hospital law, you cannot give her any information, you cannot give her an update.
So do they
What happened?
the person?
ọkùnrin mẹ́ta tá à ń wò bí ẹyọ kan. Thanks a lot to all the men, all the women
Yes,
in this
bọ̀bọ́
family,
mi
all the men.
Pythagoras nìyẹn, ọkùnrin ló ké sí dáwà.
Yes, so honestly speaking, it's not a matter
Bọ̀bọ́
of
mi
really like, it's not
Pythagoras,
like throwing
that's my
banter.
man. You are hailing my man. Thank you for hailing my man.
It's not a joking matter. See, it's not.
The British babe.
I'm leaving the
Good
office. I need
vibe.
to celebrate
I'm still
with.
here
I need to
though.
celebrate with
I'm
hot
still
pepper
here,
soup and
please.
yeah, so something spicy. Come I told you. Now, Sister Timmy, special thanks to you. And to your husband, Wallahi. Daddy Khalid. I don't know. Wùmí ó yẹ kó yẹ kó kúnlẹ̀ ó yẹ kó máa roll ńlẹ̀ fún yín ni o. It is not Sister Timmy she should thank o. It is you for enduring all this for months. Now it is up to people that will wail over the success of Wunmi. We here, it is now time to groove. It is now time to groove. I don't need to analyze what just happened. Wunmi, come out, walk by the husband. Now she has come out. Wunmi, Kinikon, DNA is a must. Now she's begging, she's not even saying, she's begging you people to please beg Josie so she can do DNA. She's now begging. Wunmi, á dáa fún ẹ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ wo ìdùnnú tí all the things that Mohbad ought to do to be joyful in your eyes, Liam is going to do more and more and more. Your husband and you and your husband had plans. Wallahi, all those plans become realities, inshallah. Where you want to escort your son to, you will do more than that. The sky is not your limit, so the universe is not your limit. Above the universe is your limit. It will be your limit, Wunmi. I'm so happy for what you did today. You are now a woman. What happened today shows now that you are a woman. And inshallah, Ramadan is near. We're going to continue to pray for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Statemi, thank you. Special thanks. Special thanks. So there are so many husbands. I know so many times that you'll be in bed, you quickly run away from bed because bóyá a máa sọ pé wọ́n flag lọ́wọ́ ni àbí the platform is kíní that you quickly have to activate it, that we have to continue the talk. How many people can do that? How many husbands can tolerate that my wife left this thing to go and do something on the phone and come back? Daddy Khalid, you are a man. You are an example of a man. Thank you very, very much. So all the moderators Oshubayin Reo. Moderators, thank you very much. Thank you very much. To our mommies that have made Temi. Hey, see, it is not Temi, Sister Temi. I'm talking about Temi Official. To the mommies and moderators that made Temi. Temi Official is now a brand. This is something you don't know. I believe after justice for Mohbad, if there's anybody having issues, especially a widow that has issues, Tobasi Temi Official, Ongo Mamo, yes, what you did for me, if you can stand for me for about 2 years, I know you're going to stand by me. Temi Official is now a brand. Is now a brand. Go to Instagram. Just go to Instagram and see how people are bashing Josie. How people are supporting Wunmi massively. Just go there right now. You guys will be like, wow, this love is now massive. Thank you very much. Your moderators, Baba. So all the husbands here, Escape, the Pythagoras, Otsumba, Brother Luatosin, top movies, Abati. God will always be with you. God will always be with you and your families. I can't just thank everybody enough. People in the comment section, you're the real MVP. In Yoshiro, our top streamer, God will be with you. They don't know your importance, so they don't know the importance of why we stream people. It's just for us to hear your plans. And in summary, they usually say something. He who laughs last, laughs best. You granted 50 plus interviews. Wunmi just did 2. Only visited 2 places. And the internet is going crazy. And the internet is like, even the man that started the whole wahala is now saying, I believe you. I believe you to be innocent. Temi, Sister Temi, God bless you. Wunmi, I can't thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I have to say. Ejo, I have to drop now. I have to go enjoy myself. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a blast. I might be back later in the day, Sha, but let me just get down. Thank you very much.
Can I go now?
Yeah, right on,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Hey,
I think that class stole the ending of my presentation. So what I'll do is I'll start from there. Like that class said, these 2 interviews that we have seen is like doing an examination and then the results coming out. It's everyone that has been part of this journey would be proud and be happy that, oh, these things that we have been fighting for, we have actually seen a result to show that, okay, we've been doing what is right. Even those who have maybe withdrawn or left, they were on women's side and maybe withdrawn or gone to do, I'm talking about the ones that really left, because there are some that have just maybe taken it back. They still come in once in a while to talk about the matter. I'm not talking about those ones now because they're still involved in it. I'm talking about those that, like people like Sir Kiki. Imagine Sir Kiki now listening to all this interview. He will be so proud of the part he played in the journey. Tolani, I don't see her talk about it anymore. I'm sure she would also look at Wumi doing this interview and be happy that, oh, I'm happy I was part of this journey. And again, everyone that has been involved, I mean, Abati has been in my DM. He's so happy. He's so happy about those that we've been chatting on DM in the last few hours. He's so happy about what these interviews. But Libby, these are the first two people that I met on Justice for Mobile when I went to Paparano. Bolly B, I'm sure will be so happy. I mean, she's gone and fought battles on her behalf. She will be so happy to see the person that, oh, she went through all of those issues, Wala, for being so radiant, being so eloquent, narrating the story, bringing people like, you see people like Bobrisky now coming out to say, now I'm even interested in this matter. All of you are crazy. You will look back and be happy, oh, this thing we've done for 15, 16 years, I am now seeing the result that I have done well. And now to bring it back home to Temi's platform, I don't know how you'd feel. I think you'd be probably the most happy on this Justice for Mohbad drama. Because why? Because you've put the most into it. And I'll say it, you put the most into it because you're the one that does 24 hours. So there's no argument there that you've put the most. You do 24 hours, you've collected the most money for her, you've put, you speak to her, you direct her. So it's more like we're happy for you. We're happy that you are seeing the results of the examination that you've taken in the last 14, 15 months, and you are flying you've come out in flying colors. So I'm really appreciate you. And the platform there's no Temi without the platform. I mean, everyone that's involved in it, the streamers, the people that speak with you as well, the people that advise you. I mean, the Temi platform altogether, if they're talking about justice for Mohbad and they're looking on the side of Wumi, Temi's platform will be mentioned, I guess, before most other platforms. The other platform that are doing their bit, everyone is putting in their shift, doing all they have to do to keep people informed and get people on women's side to stay on women's side. We've got the Anita Bellas, we've got so many platforms doing what they're doing, but because you put in the most, and I'm sure everybody agrees to that, you will be the happiest because there's a lot that you've given out. There's a lot that's come out of you on this matter. And we really appreciate you for that. I was going to end this way, but because that class ended that way, I just thought I should pick you back on that and continue. Now, going back to the interviews, it's the interview that she's done. Watching those interviews, I think what Wumi did in a very, very, I don't know what she is now. She did it in a very good way. She planted a seed inside of everyone. Those on her side, those on Baba's side, those who caused Liam, even Karimo, she planted that seed of reflection. So with Baba cannot look at this interview and be angry with Wumi because she never said anything bad about him. She even said the good things that the man did for her. This man used to be my right-hand man. This man used to be my friend. This man cooked for me. The man should be able to reflect and say, this is true. Where did it go wrong? What did this girl do that made me treat her this way? That is the seed Wumi planted inside of Baba. Inside of the woman, I don't know who that is. The woman that is always on TikTok that she's claiming ended the stopped the. I don't know who that is. Don't ask me who that is. The person who stopped the corona inquest. She also said that this person probably realized that Baba wasn't saying the truth. Also giving that person, sowing that seed of reflection inside of that person. So with all that I've done to this girl, she still feels that I was genuinely looking for justice for Mohbad, thinking that Baba wasn't telling me the truth. I wanted to find out the truth myself. That person cannot listen to that and be angry with Wunmi. God, what she's done is planted that seed for you to reflect on. It's true, but did this girl actually do anything wrong to me? With all I've done to this girl, she still came out and not say anything bad about me. Now to the people who have caused her, people who have defamed her, people who have caused Liam, she planted a seed in them as well. She said she does not blame them because they were only acting on what they were hearing. That was deep. I teared up when I heard that. It was like Jesus saying, forgive them for what they know not what they do. You know, she said if she wasn't in the mess, she probably would have followed that as well because that was the man coming out to say things. And I don't blame them because this is what they are hearing. All of these people that caused her, that caused Liam, they cannot listen to that and be angry. It is a cause for reflection that is true. Maybe I only reacted on what Baba was telling me, not that this girl actually did this thing. Maybe I need to think. Maybe this is true. You know, this girl has not come out to curse them. She has not come out to say all of them were cursing me. God will give them. God will make whatever happened to my husband happen to them. Like she just sowed that seed. I don't know how she did it. I don't know who coached her. I don't know how. It is wisdom. She showed a very. She acted like she's 60. You know, so they can't listen to that and be angry. They would only reflect. And then to Karima, she also planted a seed. She said, Karima was actually fighting for me against Baba. Karima was trying to counter what Baba was doing to me. But in the course of doing that, she said some things about my husband that I didn't want to come out in public because my husband is not here to defend himself, and I would have appreciated if only good things were said about him. Karima cannot listen to that and be angry because she said good things about you, that you were fighting for her. Karima would only reflect and say, it's true. It was because this girl did the disclaimer that I shouldn't say bad things about my Mohbad that actually caused our fight, that caused me to go the other way. She would only reflect, you know. Then she also said the key thing about all the both interviews that she did was there's this line that I wanted to, that is very deep. I wanted to be the bigger person. That thing, when just Mr. Loba, I don't want to use Josie now because I just want to be, I want to give my submission to make everything the way she said it and make it plain, not throwing insults. She said, if my father-in-law, he said, I wanted to be the bigger person. If Mr. Loba hears that, I think he should be getting a headache. A 25-year-old girl saying she did certain things because she wanted to be the bigger person. It is deep, very, very deep. And how did she show she was the bigger person? She didn't come out to say things that Mohbad would have said to him about his father-in-law. There is no way Mohbad would not have grumbled at one point or the other or said some things about his father-in-law, a father-in-law that would not be bad. Would it be about maybe Baba sending all these Ikorodu artists for him to say? He may have grumbled that what is this man even doing? If she had said it that the man, if she could have said the man was even giving me pressure, he would be sending artists out from Ikorodu to come and sign, because it happened. She didn't say that. She was the bigger person. She showed to be a bigger person there. She could have said things that Mama would have said to her. Because when the whole thing got divided, or when she got close to Mama in anger or in stating her experience would also have said a few things that maybe that Baba did to her. She didn't come out to say, oh, yeah, she even told. If she said it, it would count, like it would be points for her and would put that man down. But she didn't want to go that route of, oh, I'm come out to fight. She came out to plant, like I said, she planted the seed in everyone. She could have said things that Mama have told her in the course of that about Baba. That if she said it, people would start thinking, oh, that man. She didn't say that. She was the bigger person there. You know, she didn't come to say about the thing that she experienced herself from Baba, like Baba bringing women to the house, you know, so many things. She said she was Baba's right hand man. Don't forget, she said Baba was my right hand person. I was his right hand person. So she knows, she would have known a lot, but she didn't say that. She could have also mentioned about Baba insisting that he wanted money after naming. Baba even said he wanted money to go and do his own whatever. Mohbad didn't have money or Mohbad didn't want to give him. I had to give him because what happened was Wumi actually gave Baba the money that was contributed to her, that was given to her for the naming, like gifts, money. She gave it, she had to send it to Baba because Baba got angry. She had to send that. She could have said that publicly, but she didn't want to do that. She was a bigger person. She kept quiet. She could have said things. Adra would have said things to her. Adra disowned his father. So in the course of their talking, he also would have said one or two things that Baba did it, Baba did that. Mohbad's friend, the way he reacted on the night when they were begging him, blah, 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 they would have said a few things about him. These are the things that you could say that would make points. Oh, even his friends, because Baba will be mentioning one Maisi. I don't even know who that is. Maisi told me that. This person told me that. You'll be mentioning people saying things to you about your daughter-in-law. She could have done the same, but she chose to be the bigger person. So I think in all of this, she came out in grace. There's nobody that would watch that and say, oh, Wunmi, she came to fight. Oh, she abused this person. She did that. She said, I said, you know, obviously that people that are a host to the devil, some people, the devil lives deep inside their heart. They will never change. But what she's done tonight, she would have melted so many hearts. She would have won so many people who were on the fence. She would have won people that were not even interested in the matter to her side with these interviews that she did. And one of them is, like I said, that Bobrisky is also saying he's now going to talk about the matter and then being on her side. Femi, Mrs. Fallon also said on women's side, you know, you cannot watch that video, those interviews, and not melt for that girl, not like want to be on that side, you know. And then she showed grace. She was grateful to everybody. What she didn't do, which was perfect again, is she didn't want to call names. She tried as much as she could, because she mentioned Bella and Sheyi Vibes, she didn't want to. Then the interviewer said, mention them, and then she mentioned those names. Those names deserve to be mentioned anyway, but she tried as much as possible not to mention them. And when she mentioned Yomi today, the interviewer mentioned Yomi and said, Yomi, what is Yomi's role, blah, 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 blah. So she had to talk about Yomi, and she did a good job on Yomi. I don't know how Yomi will be feeling right now. She did a very, very good job. She did a very good job on him. And it shows that she didn't care about everybody else, about the noise. If I mention, I also don't want to mention names. On that side, there's so many names that she could have mentioned, but she didn't even give them relevance. Even VDM, she said, I don't want to mention his name. She didn't give nobody, all of those noise, like they don't matter. She made them look little, that they don't even matter in the scheme of things. She was just talking about the issues between her and the family and the father, which obviously is the main issue. Is only her and the Baba that are fighting on this matter because of Liam and Mohbad. The other members of the family are not fighting her. So, and that's why the Baba keeps coming up in whatever she says. Everybody else, all of them writing petition, all of them jumping up and down, doing science and doing shows every day. She made them look so irrelevant. Not one name did she mention, you know. So it was so perfect for me, so good that I watched the first interview. I think I must have watched that about 3 or 4 times, and then this one I watched about twice. I watched before it was played here, and I watched it when it was being played here as well. Because you can't, each time I listen to it, she showed maturity, and then she also showed her naive side to show that she's not, she's plain. The part that she did that was when they asked if she was married. She said, yeah, they did traditional marriage, but we are not legally married. You could see that her heart is plain. She didn't know. Even though we've made the noise on social media to say, oh, she's legally married, she still didn't, normally she would have gone there and say, yes, I'm legally married, traditional marriage is legal, blah. She did this, she showed her playing, and I don't know how to explain it, herself to be, she's not holding anything inside, oh, we did traditional, it's not legal. And they had to tell her, no, it's legal, it's your traditional marriage is legal. So she showed both sides of herself. She showed maturity where she had to, and where she didn't know, she made it clear that, oh, it wasn't legal. And they told her, yeah, your marriage is legal, See, I don't know what else to say, And then again, she was grateful to everybody. Even though she didn't mention names, those who put in the effort, those who are putting the shit, those who have always backed her, we know in our hearts that we are the ones that she's talking about. The one she said, she used the word, what was that word she used though, to say strangers, She mentioned our friend and she talked about strangers. We know, and again, the main person is, I would always say the number one person is Temi Official. Every other platform doing their bit, the most contribution has come from here. The most, like in terms of 24 hours, it's come from here. Everybody else will take our flowers. We are happy to see the result of all this fight, all this going to platform to argue, all this debunking, all these arguments. We are happy for her. We are happy for her. And one thing I want to ask them again is that, do they still want Wunmi at this corona inquest? Can they handle her when she comes there? Again, when the interviewer mentioned Yomi and she did a good job on Yomi, I was thinking all these other guys would be panicking that, please, interviewer, don't mention my own name. I don't want to. Because if they imagine they also what is Lati's name, if she would do a job on him, because they put the name in her mouth. She didn't want to mention him. The one they put in her mouth, she finished him completely. I don't know what that one's going to do tonight. So now, do you still want her at this inquest? What else do you want to hear? Do you still want her, or you better leave her and let her be in peace? Thank you.
wọ́n ní ká béèrè pé ṣe ṣì lè handle Ọmọ́wùmí àbí kí inquest náà dojú kódó. See, that mouth that is so fast like somebody that is eating hot yam, she will use it to finish all of you.
Yes, sir.
Tèmi, ṣé salary wa ò ní reduce báyìí?
No more salary, iṣẹ́ ti tán. Ẹ kó gbá wọlé. Ẹ kó gbá wọlé, we don't need una again. Ọmọ mi ti jáde fúnra rẹ̀.
Mo ní máa ti máa wá rí pounds.
You all are fired. You all are fired.
Kò dá báyìí. Ẹ má
My baby is out
dalẹ̀.
for herself. No
Ẹ má
more.
dalẹ̀ wà.
A lè dalẹ̀ lọ́la àti dalẹ̀ lédi báyìí.
Ẹ má dalẹ̀ wà.
No more salary. Salary is closed down. My baby girl is speaking for herself now. All salary. But you all are fired.
Àṣé last.
Now everybody go shop breakfast. Ayo.
Ẹ má break heart wa báyìí. I mean, that's
Online activist. Olóṣè olémi tourist. Ó fẹ́ lọ report mi olófò. Tó yìí lásán, mo máa fi ba ayé ẹ̀jẹ̀ Canada. Ṣó yìí lásán.
Ọlọ́run, as in game over ni.
Gbogbo yín. Bá ṣe ń mú kọ̀ọ̀kan nu ṣó Ọmọ́wùmí báyìí, màá fi ba ayé yín jẹ ni. Ẹyọ kọ̀ọ̀kan nu ṣó ẹ báyìí.
Kíni ti gbọ́n jù nígbà téèyàn bá ti ń bá lọ́ọ̀yà ṣe. Because it's just the truth. As in, game over ni. Game over. Anywhere. It's game over. Look at what you've been doing to a widow. Wàhálà wa terrorist. Àbí wọ́n gan ni terrorist olóṣèlú. In fact, nígbà tó tún ní activist, ó ní online activist, pé ẹ pè lórúkọ ẹ̀.
ó rọ́bìtì wèrè.
ọmọ mi ní bá lọ rìn gbèrègbèrè mo lọ ibi tí mo ti ń ṣe stroke káàkiri ń bá lọ
èmi stroke sí àwọn tẹ́mi ò tiẹ̀ rírí àwọn ìyá àgbàlagbà yẹn wọ́n kàn ń gbé fọ́tò wù mí sẹ́yìn ní ṣó kàn ń kọlu ṣó lórí TikTok ni.
tẹ́mi orí parí láti ni mo lọ jábọ́ sí orí parí láti. ní láti ń fẹ̀ fún Yomi àfojú ẹ̀ kan máa bọ́ Yomi àfojú ẹ̀ kan ó dùn mí mi rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn record because ìyẹn lásán àbá tún fi máa gbá cruise lọ ó máa ranjú ni ó kẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fárí ní gbogbo parí gbogbo iṣan ràn nínú orí ẹ̀ báyìí ó dùn mí bí tètè tẹ record. Gbogbo ẹ̀ náà wọn ò rí nǹkan kan sọ they didn't have anything to say as in tán bá ní ọlọ́gbọ́n amòye àtòmùgọ̀nà jọ ń ta as in this is the scenario nothing they don't have anything they could say ìyẹn orí bá mú ẹ̀ ṣe rí orí bá mú ẹ̀ ṣe rí. We're talking about intelligence. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà intelligent sọ àtakọ̀ mu. I see, just make it make sense. Actually, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká ṣìrìn because kí ni mo fẹ́ lọ wá lórí ọ̀dọ̀ Láti tí ò bá ṣe pé mi ì dẹ́ ń follow ẹ̀. But bí mo ṣe ní kí n stroll báyìí ibẹ̀ ni wọ́n kọ́kọ́ gbé wá pé bóyá life tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́. Wọn ò rí nǹkan kan sọ. Wọ́n kàn ń ké ni. Àwọn omi ojú téèyàn lè rí fi ṣe nǹkan kan omi ojú tẹ́ lè fi wẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ fi wẹ̀ kọ́rọ́ ló máa mú yín lára omi ojú tó jẹ́ pé bóyá kẹ́ fi flush toilet ìlú òyìnbó kẹ̀ la wà omi ò kí ń wọ́n wá láti fi flush toilet so kí la fẹ́ fomi ojú wọn ṣe bóyá ẹ̀yin ti Canada ṣá because wọ́n ní salt máa ń wà nínú omi ojú bóyá tẹ́ bá dà sílẹ̀ snow yín ó lè tètè jẹ́ káwọn snow yẹn melt other than that nothing. Ọmọwùnmí, thank you once again. Bójú wa jẹ́. In fact, your interview was natural. It was real. It was an expression of your feelings. It was as in nothing was being faked. Nothing was being scripted. As it was just you bearing it out, bearing it all. Can we be having interview every day? Tell me, please. Because, in fact, thank God today I'm home full day. Mo kàn lounge in bed ni.